I want to welcome everybody to today's webinar. We're going to talk a little bit about getting more out of your CMS with Liferay. And at the beginning, I just want to introduce some of the speakers today. So my name is Bill Dunn. I'm the president of Dunn Solutions Group, and I'll just be doing the intro and a little bit at the end. We have Eric Kirby with us. Eric is Solution Sales Lead over at Liferay. And Eric will be telling us a little bit more about the Liferay product. And then we have Jacob Morris. He works for Dunn, and he's one of our senior consultants. So he's going to be doing a lot of the demos and talking about the technology, and hopefully you'll get a chance to see everything and get excited about the art of the possible. So a little bit up front, just about Dunn Solutions. Dunn Solutions, we're a digital commerce and business transformation consultancy. We're headquartered in Chicago, offices in Minneapolis and India, and we help companies take advantage of technology to better run their businesses. And I want to talk a little bit about some of the challenges that people have with managing website content. When you have a small website, it's really not a big deal. You know, you can manage it either in WordPress or manage it manually. But as your website gets larger and larger, it becomes harder and harder to deal with things in a manual way. So even if you've got a lower end product, you know, like a WordPress type of product, you still may not be able to fully manage everything in a way that's expedient. And so it becomes even more difficult when you have to quickly create new pages or quickly modify things, and when marketing needs to do things without the need for IT. So what marketing would like usually is the ability to quickly add pages, have them be templated, but also the freedom to be able to make changes to those pages without having to go back to a web designer or going back to IT. And so that's a thing that's we hear that as a common refrain that marketing users want. The other kind of challenges that happen a lot are around content. Sometimes you have multiple people involved in the content creation and approval process. And if you don't have any kind of way to support that, it becomes a lot of emails back and forth. And then sometimes the wrong content gets created and put out there in the world. So that is another challenge that people often have, with dealing with large websites. A newer one, but still very important, is the idea or concept of personalization and the ability to present different types of content to different users based on who they are, or even more importantly, based on what they're interested in. So content needs to be dynamic. It's not just static. Everybody may not get or want to get the same experience. So being able to handle that and being able to have that just happen is very important. And in addition to just web content, you often want to be able to share documents or other types of content, even content from other systems in your website. So a really good solution should be able to handle that as well. So these are common challenges that we see across all entities, and especially as your websites get more complex and the websites become more important. Your online digital experience, your online digital presence is a lot of times the first chance somebody has to review your organization. So we're going to talk a little bit about Liferay and how Liferay can help you address, some of these challenges. So I'm going to turn it over to Eric. And Eric, can you tell us a little bit more about the Liferay platform?
Absolutely. Thank you, Bill. So as Bill said, my name is Eric Kirby. I'm a solution sales lead with Liferay, which means I work very closely with our sales team and with our partners like Dunn Solutions to make sure that we deliver the best solutions possible for our customers working on the Liferay digital experience platform. And so today I have the pleasure of talking to you a lot about the different content management features that we have within our full DXP. Now, whether you are, let's say, someone who's never utilized Liferay before, or a long-standing customer, we hope that today is a great introduction to the robust content management features that we have. Now, with the hour time slot that we have today, we won't be able to cover the full breadth and depth of all the different capabilities of our entire platform, but would like to give you a high-level overview of what Liferay can do. Now, Liferay DXP, the digital experience platform, contains three main components. Our DXP core, which we're going to be primarily focusing on today as we talk a lot about the core content management features. There's a whole commerce capability that's a part of that platform as well, which we won't spend too much time on today, but certainly if there are questions about, we could discuss. And then, just as Bill talked about, there's a rich analytics program or platform on top of the Liferay DXP that allows you to not only see how that content is performing, but allows you to also segment your users into different demographics and start driving rich personalization to make sure that that dynamic content is driven to the users that it resonates best and foremost with. Now, across those three main components, of course, there's a number of different features and frameworks that are encompassed within this platform. We won't be able to show all of them today, but today we're going to be taking a very heavy focus and looking at the content asset management capabilities of Liferay. There's a full low, no-code application building capabilities of Liferay within the platform, rich data modeling and process management, commerce as we talked about before, and many other capabilities. But as you'll see in the demonstration that Jacob is about to show, that core content management capability ties into all these different frameworks in very rich and robust ways to allow you to create not only great websites and web experience management through a business user interface with personalized content and personalized experiences for your end users, but with a rich enterprise platform with graded security in the back end to make sure that as you're maintaining those digital experiences, that it matches exactly the repertoire of capabilities that you're expecting for your enterprise organization. Now with that, I would really like to focus first and foremost on the content and asset management capabilities of Liferay. You can see within this page, and as you'll see in the demonstration later, the goal of Liferay's content management system and web experience management is really to make it as easy as possible for a business user to drive those user experiences. Without needing to know any HTML or CSS, we want to make it so that your users can go in, drag and drop elements within a page, see exactly what that end user experience is going to look like as they're actually going in and crafting those experiences in real time. And they can see what those experiences look like from a desktop, a tablet, a mobile phone, all in real time to understand what that responsive design is going to look like across all those different form factors. At the same time, too, as they're creating that content and seeing in real time what that is going to look like to their end users, it can also tie into your rich documents and media that's stored in the backend, where that would be PowerPoint, Excel spreadsheets, Word documents, rich images and multimedia files, as we see in this example here within the slide. It allows you to tie into existing repositories of information, whether they're stored in Google, Microsoft, what have you. And of course, all of this is backed by all the different enterprise-grade features that we talked about before from our digital experience platform to allow you to wrap that content as it goes through, let's say, the publication process in a rich approval workflow to make sure that you're not editing content directly within production, to make sure that you're, let's say, taking and inheriting all the design of your particular brand and your brand rationale inside of that site, so as a consistent look and feel against all your different digital touchpoints. As users create that content from that business user interface, what we want to then do is make it so that you can start to segment your users as much as possible, so that you can start to slice and dice them into what we call different demographics or segments inside of Liferay. This allows you then to start to identify, let's say, target demographics of users that you want to personalize content around. It could be logged in users if you know things about them once they're authenticated, things about their profile, previous purchase history, behavior, even within the site from an unauthenticated perspective. You can start to see what content users had visited previously, what documents had they downloaded, forms that they'd filled out. And as users exhibit these different behaviors, they automatically get registered into these different buckets, which then helps drive personalization. So that, as Jacob will show in his demonstration later, if you have, let's say, a bank as your organization, and a user is going in to learn about the different lines of credit that you have to offer, as they come in and read about, let's say, a credit card, and they start to fill out that credit card application process, but don't fill it out entirely, you now know that they're highly interested in a line of credit through one of your many different credit card lines. And so then when they go back to the homepage, that could then be populated inside of a carousel or in a promotional space once they log in to start getting them more and more closer to pulling the trigger on that particular service or product that you're trying to offer towards them. Of course, our personalization and segmentation can be driven with A/B testing, multivariate testing, rich product recommendations as well too, based upon the history of that user and the things that you know about them. And so now content is no longer static around how you create these experiences for your end users, but it's rich and dynamic and adjusts in real time based upon the things that you know about that user or that account that's interacting with your organization. And of course, once you create that personalization, you want to be able to understand how it's thoroughly performing. And so with that, we have our rich analytics framework that allows you to see in real time how users are interacting with the content that you've created for your site. It allows you to see where users are coming from, how they're originating and actually accessing that content or that call to action that you've set for them. And then at the same time, too, that analytics can help further feed that personalization so that you can make sure you're refining and optimizing those end user experiences for your content as you're creating either public sites or even logged in experiences within a portal. And so this is very rich. It allows you to create a content dashboard in real time to see how that content is performing on the right-hand side. So as you're going in and editing content, interacting with those pages, you know right off the bat, how exactly that content is performing with your audience. At the same time, too, search and navigation is incredibly important for your content and the way that you manage your content across your entire site. With Liferay, we have rich tuning capabilities for your search, so you can make sure that search is incredibly fine-tuned for the users that are coming in and searching for certain assets, certain content that's created across all your variable sites. That search can be highly personalized, so just as the content can be personalized, so can your search results. They can be fine-tuned based upon the type of user who's logging in, the segments that you've driven for that user based upon their behavior, user profile information, and different things like that. At the same time, too, we have very rich predictive search, too, so that you can make sure that as users go in and search for different keywords, if they don't know exactly what you're looking for, you can help fill that out on their behalf and drive them to the content that you want them to be looking for and that is most relevant for that user. At the same time, too, as we talk about content design is incredibly important. If you're managing multiple different sites within Liferay, because Liferay is multi-tenant and allows you to do just that, you can maintain one specific design system across all these variable sites that allows you now to have a similar look and feel, a brand rationale across all those different digital touch points. So that as the user goes from your public site to, let's say, the customer portal to their intranet, there's all that same brand look and feel. Elements have a similar feel to them so that they know they're within that space, that safe space of your particular organization and your touch points. At the same time, too, there's the ability to drive rich search engine optimization. So not only the search within Liferay, but the public search capabilities of leveraging your assets up to Google, to what have you, so that users, when they're searching for specific criteria and specific assets, get those results that you want for them ranked higher up than, let's say, other competing offers. Liferay provides rich localization capabilities with our content management system, too. We support over 40 different translations out of the box, including right to left languages as well. And then accessibility is, of course, an incredibly rich concern for your content. Depending upon your organization, you might have specific compliance measures that you have in terms of accessibility. Liferay can tie into third-party frameworks such as Google Page Insights that allows you to highlight your content in real time for certain things that might be missing from an accessibility perspective. If you have an image within your content that doesn't have an alt tag, if there are too rich contrasts between, let's say, the text and the background behind that text, it'll start to flag those for you automatically, so that a user and a content manager can quickly come in and resolve those issues from an accessibility standpoint as that content is going through an approval process, as it's going through a workflow before it goes live out to publication. And of course, as you create content, that content doesn't only have to be displayed within Liferay pages, but that content can be created in a headless manner so that it is dynamically retrievable through an API. That means that content you create in Liferay can be serviced out through a native mobile app, a hybrid mobile app, third-party web apps if you wish, so that as you create that content within Liferay as your single source of truth for all content and all assets across your enterprise, it can then be serviced out through your many different digital touchpoints and even drive personalization across all these different digital touchpoints so that as you identify users as, let's say, target accounts or target user profiles for a particular product or service, it can then be personalized and promoted across all those different areas that users might interact with, creating really rich and cohesive user journeys across your many different technology stacks and the ways that users interact with you. And then last but not least, we all know that AI is a very hot topic today. And of course, Jacob is going to be showing some of this in the demonstration. But Liferay has rich integrations with many different AI-capable frameworks, such as ChatGPT, to help you create content through a basic prompt. This gives you a great starting point for creating your copy and your content for your marketing users. Of course, it's probably not what you're going to want to push out to live, but it gives you a good starting point so that as it goes through that workflow, users can manually review that content and apply changes where they think are necessary before it actually goes live in your public site or your portal. At the same time, too, we tie into rich AI capabilities for Learn to Rank through Elasticsearch, so that as users go and search for content, we can see their behavioral trends and identify what are the best results based upon previous history of other similar users, and we start boosting those search results up to create more optimized search in real time. And then last but not least, image and document auto tagging. This is great capabilities if you have, let's say, a very rich content network with hundreds of thousands of different assets and documents within your library. It allows you to automatically start tagging those images and those documents based upon keywords that are stored within the documents, metadata that's surrounding them, and even images that are being stored through third-party cloud services like Google Cloud Vision or natural language services, and even Microsoft Cognitive Services. Now with that, that's all that I have to present today. As I mentioned, there's a lot of capabilities in Liferay DXP across our rich platform framework capabilities. Today, we're going to be taking a very specific focus on content management and how that can help your enterprise organization. But with that, I would like to hand the reins over to Jacob to actually start the demonstration and show many of the different features that we talked about so far today.
Thanks, Eric. Hey everyone, I'm Jacob. I'm a senior consultant at Dun Solutions, and today I'll be walking you through the website that we built to show some of the cool features with Liferay. So here we have our landing page for the company Jake Financial. We provide a range of different products and services from credit cards and loans to investment advice. We have cards at the bottom of the page advertising the different offerings that Jake Financial has available. And so let's see how easy it is to build some of these experiences with Liferay. To do that, as we're logged in as an administrator, we can go ahead and at the top we have an edit button for the page. And this brings up the edit menu to let us customize this page without having to do any programming itself. So we can do a lot of things really easily. One of these things being changing the background. If we decide we don't really like the background image that we've chosen, we can just go here, click on the background, and then go into styles, and we have a background image selected. And so if we don't like this one, we can go to where we have our different images stored and choose a new one. So let's say that we like this image better. And we were able to change that, and when we're ready, we can publish that, but we can continue to make more changes as well. If we don't like the text on the page, we can just click on it directly and edit it right here. So if we don't like get started with Jake Financial, we can change it to invest with Jake Financial. And we can also add new things to this page very easily. So if we want to add kind of a new alert to say if there's any new news for the company, we can just take a widget and drag it directly onto the page. And when we're all good and happy with how everything looks, we can publish it. And now the new page will look like this. And new people that are visiting the site, they'll see everything updated automatically. And if we want to go even deeper, Liferay makes it easy to build out brand new pages as well. So if we want to go and we can see the style book, and this keeps everything with a consistent look and feel across the entire website. So if we want to look at some of the services that we offer, we want our pages to look similar to this for all of the different services that Jake Financial provides. And we can go and we can change things about this if we don't like how it's looking. So if we don't like the typography size, if we think the font's too small, we could change this and make this bigger. And we could see right here just how the page would look after these changes are made. And when we want to go and create brand new pages, we can do that through the site builder and create a new page. And we have different page template sets. And so we've created a service page template. And we can create a new service to talk about Jake Financial's estate planning services that they're now going to offer. And so this gives us a template of everything that we had on the page before. We can change the title to estate planning. And we can add in our content. And we can select an image to display onto the page. And we could stop here if this is all that we wanted to add to the page, and this is everything that was added through the template. And if we want to expand from this, we can also do that here. So if we also want to have a video on the page, we can just go like we were doing before and just drag the widget and display and put it right on the page. And we can go over here to the video option, and we can put in the URL for the video that we want to display on the page. And when everything looks good, we can go ahead and hit publish and go and view our new page. So now we have the content that we added, our image, as well as the new video that we added that wasn't a part of the original template. So now let's go and look at what the end user views. So we can go to our site. And this is, oops. Let me go here. So this is what a new user would see when they visit the page for the first time. This is not someone who's logged into the website. So they see all the changes that we just made earlier. They have our new alert as well as the new background image and the new text. So one of these things that we added was a news page, and this lets us publish articles about what the company is up to and share anything that we think might be useful to our customers. And just like before, and a user is able to filter news to see specific categories and narrow down listings to see specific stuff. So if they just want to see some of the new awards that the company has, as like Andrew Cook being awarded with a CFP designation, we can do that pretty easily. And if we want to get the full details, we can click read more and we get the entire article. And these news stories are a type of recurring content structure. So this has a consistent structure for every single article. Every article has a headline, a title, a summary, and an image. So we can utilize Liferay content management to help build these pretty easily. So if we go back over to the administrator view, and we can create a new news article, and we would do that through web content. And we can add a new news structure. Select the template that we want it to be viewed as, and we can start creating our new news article. And then we can go and select an image. And then we can go and write our full story. And like Eric mentioned earlier, we now have ChatGPT integration, so we can use this to help us write our article, and then we can kind of modify it later on as we go through the process. So we can give it a prompt that we want a news article about Jake Financial offering 401ks, and we can just go ahead and hit create and let ChatGPT write out a story for us. And so now we have our content written out, and we can review it here. And if we like how it looks, we can go ahead and hit add. And if there's anything that we want to change, we could go ahead and change it and remove a sentence if we don't think that it really fits. Liferay also gives us ways to manage and filter the content that we have on the site. And we can do that with categories. So if you remember back on the news site, we were able to filter by the different types of news stories that we had. And this is where you would add those. So if you want this to show up as a company announcement, you would just add the category to the web article, and we would be done. And so now when this is eventually published, they'll be able to filter by company announcements and see this new page. We also have ways to schedule when this content is posted and when it can be removed. So if we have something that we don't want to have to be posted today, but we want it to be posted a week from now, we could set the display date to be in the future and already have the content approved and ready to go. And as soon as that date happens, then it will be live on the site. And the same with the expiration date. Once we want something to not show up anymore, we can go ahead and schedule that so it happens automatically without us having to do anything ourselves. But once we like everything that we've written on the article, we can submit this for a workflow. And so this puts it into a pending status where it is now awaiting review from a content manager. And if we go and we look at the notifications as a content manager, we can see that we have a new article that's ready for our review. And as a manager, we can assign it to ourselves to do the review or assign it to somebody else on our team. I'll just assign it to me for now. And now that it's assigned to me, I can do the review process for it. So I can view kind of what it's going to look like once it's on the page. And if I think everything looks good, I can go ahead and approve it. If I want to send it back for more review, I can reject it, or I can leave a comment on what I think needs to be updated. But I think it looks good, so I can go ahead and approve it, and it's now been approved. So if we go back to the Liferay website and we go to the news page, our new article has been published. So now we can talk about some of the user experiences, and this can be done, and we do this with both the credit card and the loan page. So this is our different credit card offerings, and this is content that we can manage And this is content that the marketing team could manage themselves. And here we list out some key details, and if the user is interested, they can simply click on the card and get the full details right here on the page. And they can go back and they can read a different one if they think this will fit them better. And one thing we do here is we track which cards that the user is interested in and put them into different segments. So we keep track of who's interested in what card and who's interested in what loan. And that way later on we can target our promotions on the main page to target those people with specific loans. And we have a similar thing for the loan page. We have different types of loans that are available. And if they click on them, then they can get the full details. And we do some tracking on our end to keep track of this. And this is done through Liferay Analytics. So this is Liferay Analytics. It keeps track of all sorts of data about the visitors to our site, and one of these things being the pages that are visited. When users go to a loan page, Liferay Analytics keeps track of it and then adds them to an interest segment once they reach a certain score. And we can look at these segments here. So these are the different segments for the different loans that we have, and we can see kind of what our rules are for this segment. So this one, we want to keep track of anyone who's visited the boat loan page at least once. And if they've done that, then we put them into the segment, and then we can use this to target specific content to them on the homepage. So this is kind of like an overview of the anonymous user experience, and let's go in and look at a logged in experience and show how this targeting actually works. So I'll go ahead and sign in as a regular user. And so this user has clicked on the home loan page originally, and now when they come back to the home page, the loan at the bottom changed from just being an offering that we have loans available to now specifically advertising the home loan itself. That way, when they come back, we can try to really push them into looking more into getting these home loans. And now that we're logged in, we also have more pages available to us because Liferay has web content and portal capabilities built into it. So now that we're logged in, we have access to all of these new pages at the top. So let's go into some of these now. The client homepage really shows some of Liferay's ability to let us build custom widgets. So when they come here, they can go and they can visit what their portfolio value is over time, as well as see things like news alerts from the company and read some of the news headlines while they're here. They also have an accounts page where they can get more details about what their portfolio is invested in and how it's performed over time, and see how their portfolio is diversified with this dynamic chart. The next page is documents, and this is really cool because Liferay has a full-featured document library which can be used to share documents with logged-in users. And the documents page shows the client all the documents that the Jake Financial team thinks would be important. And admins can upload and delete any of these documents to keep clients up to date with what these companies are doing. So Liferay is able to process these files and create thumbnails for them automatically. And by clicking on the specific document that you want to read, you can render the document in Liferay itself right on the page without having the user having to download the document themselves. And they're able to scroll through here and read and learn about whatever is in the document. So this kind of ends my quick overview of the Liferay DXP platform. As you can see, it's a full-featured content management system, but also has portal and even e-commerce features. Thank you all, and I'll turn it back over to Bill.
All right, thank you very much. What I'd like to do is just kind of open the webinar up to questions, and take a look at the chat. Is there anybody who has any questions about the platform or how it could help? Please, now's a good time to ask.
Bill actually had a question in the chat for you, and it was, how does e-commerce integrate with the CMS?
That's a great question. We didn't go into the e-commerce features of Liferay during this particular webinar because we wanted to keep it short. But Liferay itself has a full e-commerce component that is available also in the platform. So one of the nice things that you can do with Liferay is you can have your website and your content management, your portal, and your e-commerce all in a single platform, which means that if you're doing things that have to do with e-commerce, like a product display page or a category page, you can also insert content into those pages and have that be dynamic content that's associated or tagged with that particular product. Now, you're saying, well, what happens if I have an e-commerce site that's not built on Liferay? Well, there's no issue because Liferay has headless capabilities. So all of your content management and all your documents, all those things that you're managing inside of Liferay can also be surfaced up into a third-party e-commerce solution just by using RESTful APIs and sort of a headless view of the content management. So what this means is that you get the benefits of the content management pieces, the document management, as well as the ability to just use those elements, even if your front end is a mobile application or a third-party e-commerce site. So, so full support for e-commerce with the Liferay DXP platform. Were there any other questions?
There was one more, and it asked about, and you touched on this, I think, but can this be used for both B2B and B2C applications?
So yes, the answer is absolutely. So Liferay works great in both of those spaces. B2B, Liferay has a lot of features that are specific to being able to log in and only get permission to see certain things if you're a logged in user. And that works with B2B as well as B2C. As Jacob showed in the demo, your logged in experience is quite a bit different than your experience when you're an anonymous user. So with a single platform, you can provide both an anonymous typical website experience, but you can also provide a logged in experience as well.
Something to add to that too is in the B2B context, it allows you to orchestrate and let's say structure users in a hierarchy of accounts. So in a B2B space, it can be incredibly valuable and powerful when you start looking at Liferay as a digital experience platform, because now you can see how users are situated within that account as a whole, whether that account has a main point of contact. Let's say if you're running a partner network or a partner portal inside of Liferay, you can have your main point of contact who is managing that account, and you can do delegated administration. So if let's say that account has a new hire within that organization, they can start to create that user within their account hierarchy. They'll automatically start inheriting the roles and permissions of that account and the content that's associated with them. And it becomes even more powerful when we start marrying, let's say, commerce in those same capabilities, because now that account in a B2B space can start to see the products that are involved with their particular product line, register with that account. They can see account history content associated with it, things like invoices, purchase orders, serviceable content, alongside of those products from the commerce capability as well.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. That's really a good point. So at the end of the day, Liferay is a great all-in-one solution for handling enterprise type content management, but also portals and other things. So if you have any questions about Liferay or how it can be used within your organization, please feel free to reach out to me at bill@dunsolutions.com. And we appreciate your time today on our webinar. Thank you very much, everybody. Take care.